Good morning, everybody. Whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world, this is Coast to Coast. What's happening? Herb, you're muted, man. Let's not start it off that way.
I mean, but I never even click it, man. Like StreamYard just doesn't unmute, I think, after the first intro. I don't know.
I like that StreamYard's just like, no.
You know what I mean? Every morning, like, no. What's up, Gino? What's up, Nick? And Zach.
Coffee and cake. See, this is a problem.
Good boy, Nick.
Hey, you know what? I'm with it. I don't have coffee.
Yes. Well, technically that's coffee cake, or you could split it up and get coffee and cake.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. Sorry, man.
All I got was a mess. I didn't get any coffee. That's
a bad start to the day.
Hey, welcome in, everybody.
A lot of good mornings this morning.
And I do love me some coffee cake.
Look away.
Hey, you know what? Okay, bye.
Oh, it is absolutely going to be one of those kind of mornings.
It's fine. It's going to be a busy day anyway. So it's but the good thing for me, I guess, is I like coffee because it's just like a warm beverage in the morning. I don't actually get anything from the like caffeine end of it.
Right.
So I never have to worry about like the day that I forget, like, the people that have, the caffeine addiction. They're like, oh, I got headaches and stuff. I don't get any of that. Like, it's it's the mild inconvenience of, I like having a cup of coffee.
Right. That's what the show has kind of gotten into me, especially in its last couple iterations too. Yeah. I drink coffee for this show like no other time. Saturday, Sunday, no coffee. This show, got to have my cup every morning. So,
well, I mean, it's earlier than you're used to getting up, so I get it.
The wind has changed again. I can't keep up. When I'm too old. What's up, Donna? Good morning, Donna. I think that's Donna's favorite.
Yeah. Oh, when?
Yeah.
Good news on your front.
Uh-oh.
I finally saw my in-laws, so I can finally send you those cups that you won like 2 months ago. So there's that. a little behind, but hey, I got him. I got him back. I left him in a car, and so now I can finally mail him out. Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Although I don't generally love I'm not a big stout fan, right? Which is usually the ones that are flavored.
Right.
And not a huge fan of those, but I just won't have coffee today. It's fine. It's whatever. But some exciting stuff did happen over the last couple of days, and we didn't talk about the first one, and of course the other one happened last night, which is the NCAA National Championship games. And the first one we got to talk about is UCLA, and the women's side. I mean, talk about dominant. And not only that, but for whatever reason, they weren't the story. And they should have been more than they were, right? Yeah. Everybody was talking about Gino and Dawn and these guys that are always in the mix. Right. And then UCLA just quietly rattled off a 27-1 record.
Yeah.
Right. And then you get to the national championship game and they did work. Yeah. Right. Like it wasn't
close.
It wasn't. Yeah. Like it wasn't that competitive, really. Yeah. So
no. Well, and keep in mind, folks, that they were a number 1 seed last year as well. So it's not like it was a Nick. You let me know what you find. It wasn't like they were like a flash in the pan. They have been consistent. And I didn't know that Lauren Betts, I guess, had transferred in for Stanford, because she's been at least in there 2 or 3 years. All 5 of their starters were seniors, which you do see way more in the women's game, of course. Sure. Than not all 5, of course, but you do see more seniors. But
well, I mean, you just have people that stay at the schools longer. So
yes, for sure. Absolutely. For sure. Right. But to get, had 6 seniors and 5 of them start, I mean, they had a good group, right? They kept them together. And what, like you said, I saw more stories about Dawn Staley losing another championship game than I did about UCLA winning. And
100%.
Right. Why aren't they the story? Betts, this is going to be her last game. She's going to go on after this. Coach keeping her group together. I mean, I somehow saw a meme of the Tennessee player that left not wanting to shake the coach's hand. And, Tennessee's falling apart this year. It's like, I don't get why we decide the negative stories are better than the positive. It's a great story. And they've had a great run the last 2 years at least, and you win your national championship. That's amazing and should be celebrated. And in this era of, everybody's leaving.
That's what we do on this show, is we highlight that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, congratulations that should be the story.
Yeah. Well, they took control early and never looked back, so that was just kudos to them. What's up, Joe? How are you doing, sir?
Brad, I see you in the Riddler gear there. You'd be the worst Riddler ever because the answer is always Philly. Yeah, and you're not wrong. Like when you're talking about general journalism, yes, bad stories sell. People want to see that people are doing worse than they are to make themselves feel better. Like, I get it. But you know what? That's not what we do here.
No, they deserve kudos. Kudos to Lauren Betts for having a great career. They eventually lost to Texas in the game before, and then they totally dominated South Carolina. So, yeah, amazing run. Celebrate that championship.
Absolutely. I mean, they were talked about so little in this whole scenario that you would have thought that they were a bottom seed,
right?
Which is funny because they were a 1, right? Like, I mean,
yes.
It's like everybody acted like they didn't deserve to be there, and they were absolutely just destroying people.
Yeah.
So it was, pretty crazy. So congrats to UCLA. It's quite the season.
Yeah, excellent season. And like I said, they were 1 seed last year, 2-year run, great. I have to look back. I honestly wasn't paid because I know who won, 3 years ago. But look, Staley, and even with the Dawn Staley part of it, you should celebrate. Like, look, I know they lost the last 2, but she's been to 3 national championships in a row. That is crazy in this era, and especially with the way the tournament goes, where upsets can happen at any moment. So kudos to her as well. But let's definitely stop talking about Gina R.M. and let's not talk about a guy who didn't even make it to the championship game and decided to act like a little weenie. So, forget
it. Yeah, and Dawn's great. And she showed a lot of grace in that loss.
Yeah.
So, the Gino thing was wild.
Yeah.
Brad, I don't drink a lot of wheat beer. I tend to stick towards lighter beers because I'm more of a social drinker. I don't really drink at home by myself. I'm more likely to cook with beer than actually drink. But if I'm drinking, it's going to be a lager, a pilsner, a blonde, something like that. Generally, Like I'll step up to a Bodhi or an IPA sometimes or whatever, but for the most part, it's going to be lighter beers because I'm going to have a few of them watching football or something to that effect. Or there you go, Coors Light. That's an easy go-to, like if you're at the game, for sure. So there was another national championship, and that one, of course, was played last night, and Michigan gets it done. There was a little bit of a scare towards the end, though, because UConn was clawing their way back, and they made it interesting because with about 8 minutes to go, they had an 11-point lead. It wasn't. It didn't look like it was going to be close.
Right.
And some shots just didn't drop. UConn finally hit a 3, and they started to reel them back in a little bit.
Right. No, that's and you've seen Michigan do that in every game in the tournament. even games that happen to be close at half, which I think might have only been Alabama's game because they were destroying everyone else, but they always made a run, to kind of just put teams away. So kudos to UConn for the fight in a game where you looked overmatched for sure.
Oh yeah.
I think the refs let them play physical, and that helped them slow the game down, and that kept it within striking distance. And it's interesting. You see some of the UConn fans, they're like, oh, there was way more fouls called on us. I was like, did you watch the game? Because you guys were pretty much
both sides were bugging people. Like,
so
like they were not calling anything. Like, there could have been in that last 10 minutes, there could have been a foul on every possession.
Yeah,
like they were beating each other up down there, and good on them.
Yeah. I was surprised more at some of like the fast break opportunities. You see a guy go up for layup and end up on his butt and no call. And I was like, no contact? Usually those are the high profile ones that you always get. I get the banging down low. But then, even they have those hook and holds. And it's always funny to me when you look at the replay and there's clearly a guy who's got a guy's arm locked. And the ref blows the whistle and the guy's like, what? And I'm like, I mean, we can all see it. I think it's not even debatable on some of these. But no, I don't. For anybody who's saying I don't think the refs caused UConn. Look, Michigan was the better team. Yeah, UConn was scrappy. They tried to hold it down, but at the end of the day, they just didn't have enough firepower. Which is they were about to try to go to win 3 championships in 4 years. Like that is. Again, I said the same thing about Don Staley making. Yeah, that's crazy in this time period. So that's up to them, but congrats to Michigan.
It was funny too, because it was unfortunate for UConn that they finished on the hoop that they did, because for whatever reason, if your 3-pointer wasn't perfect, it was not going in on that hoop. Like there was something on that basket that if that shot wasn't money, it wasn't it. Right. Like if you glanced the rim, it was like, nope. It was built by Mutombo. It's like, no. Like
Don, I actually mentioned you when I first poured. So but no, you're right. It's funny on the women's side, they had reports of that because the shooting got so bad once they got into like past the Sweet 16, because they were actually saying stuff like that, new basketballs and bad rims. So there is something to that. And if UConn could have made a couple more, that would have really been interesting. But it's kind of like that magic. Yeah. But it felt like the magic that they had used up in the last couple of games was just kind of gone. But I don't want Michigan, they were the best team all tournament, right? If they had not gotten upset by Purdue in the Big Ten tournament, they would have been a little bit higher of a number 1 seed. Maybe they're talked about a little bit more. I think losing that last game dropped them down to the 3rd number 1. So it's almost like they were under the radar, except they were destroying everybody. So probably about as dominant a run. And the opposite of the women's game, all 5 of their starters were transfers in. Yeah. So
I mean, that's just the men's side of stuff now.
Yeah, like it is.
Anybody that you had this year, you probably aren't going to have next year. Yeah. They're either going to the NBA or they're transferring to go get more money somewhere else. Yeah. The landscape of the men's side is kind of terrible, actually. Yeah. Like it's unfortunate because I mean, now you're definitely repping your school, right? Because you don't have any storylines with players to really build on. You still have it a little bit in the women's side, although it is starting to shift away from that too. NIL is going to destroy both programs. But and then of course the WNBA, actually paying their players is going to incentivize some of these ladies to move on also. But it's just unfortunate because it used to be that you would, kind of follow groups through their college career and you had like a fun story and you saw the younger guys coming through the program. And so you had this like sustainable thing to watch. And now when you're watching, you're just like, okay, yeah, like next year going to be all different. So I'm going to root for them because they're wearing purple and gold, but I don't know who any of them are. Like,
yes. Look, the only jersey that I have in my closet right now has my name on the back of it because Raj bought it for me. Other than that, you just the last time I invested in, I bought through our NIL, I bought 2 shirts with 2 guys on it, right? One of them transferred the very next year. I was like, well, there you go, right? And then the second one got the doghouse and didn't even play the year that he stayed. So it's kind of, you're absolutely right. You don't get to invest. And basketball is definitely the worst. Caravan for UConn was there all 4 years. I think he's like the winningest college basketball player. You're just not going to see much of that because you almost have to be just good enough for people are, to help your team win, but not good enough to where everybody tries to poach you, Exactly. And then UConn is pouring more into their NIL than in basketball, than football at this point. So you don't see, it's like a lot of things have to come together for you to keep your team together, Like we just went on a Sweet 16 run. We've already lost our starting centers already entering the portal. You're like, what are we doing? We used to think it was the one and dones when they made you go a year to college that was going to ruin it, but no, it's going to be NIL for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the one and dones were already frustrating,
right?
And now you just compound it with everyone's a one and done.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean one and done with college. It's just one and done at your school.
Yes, exactly.
And Gino, you're not wrong here. Cinderella stories are going to be fewer, right? At the same time, it's not like the Cinderella stories generally won anyway. Like they're fun stories, but they usually flame out in the Sweet 16 or the Final Four. Like that, the Cinderella stories generally ended there anyway.
Right.
So what we're really talking about is they're gonna flame out in the round of 32 and the Sweet 16s. I mean, basically, you're gonna get one less round out of them. They're still gonna be there because you're starting with 68 teams. So like you're still gonna have some teams that aren't necessarily thought to be there, and they're gonna randomly win a game, and then they're gonna get smoked because these other teams are buying rosters. So
think about this: the team that made it the longest as a double-digit seed, 11, was Texas. So it's kind of to your point, the rest of them are disappearing. Now you did have, because like 3 years ago you had double-digit seeds, and like 5 or 6 years. There's been like 2 years in like the last 10 where you had seeds make a deep run. I think even that's gone though to that point, because they can't hold their teams together anymore. Gino, exactly. To that point, once a guy gets any kind of pub, he's entering the portal,
especially from those smaller schools, right?
Oh yeah,
like you go out and your team breaks into the tournament and you get past the first round, you're in the round of 32, maybe even get past that one. Your star is going to a top D1 the next year and probably getting some cash.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
If you're one of the lesser schools, especially if you don't have a good payroll, I mean, college sports is pay to play at this point. I mean, it kind of was before anyway. Nobody wanted to talk about it, but kind of was. But now, I mean, it's overtly that.
Yeah, for sure. And think about the way more teams, for basketball than football, because you like triple in size. And you have conferences like the Big East that don't have football teams, so they're pouring way more into basketball out of whatever that budget is. So, just way more opportunities for.
No, and I mean, as a Husky fan, like we haven't had anything to even worry about because they never even make it into the tournament, which is why I root on Gonzaga. It's like, oh well, it's a basketball school, and but even they don't win it all. Right. Like their best years have been Final Fours. I mean,
no, they made a championship game though.
They did. Yeah. They did make one in, but they didn't win it. But
But Gonzaga used to be kind of one of those Cinderella-ish, smaller schools that would get their guys and keep them all together for 4 years. And Few is a great coach. So you'd get those groups, keep them all together. You knew you had them 4 years. And in basketball, hey, if I can get 2 really good players on the team and like 3 scrappy like role players, that's usually great. But now it's all right, that guy's probably going to leave and this guy's going to, That's why you're not seeing as much of the Gonzaga stories either. So, but they've kind of become a powerhouse. They don't count on Cinderella, of course, but
that's the thing, right? Like, is that they don't get the storyline anymore because for the last 20 years, they've been a top-rated team every year. You can't be the underdog if you're like, oh, where did you rank? Well, between 1 and 5 for the last 20 years. You're not an underdog anymore. Like, I'm surprised they were an underdog as long as they were.
True.
Right.
True.
Because I mean, when you're looking at when you're looking at what you expect in an underdog or Cinderella story or anything like that to be, a top 5 seed isn't that.
Right. Right. No, you're right. Yep.
It's like, we made it in here on some bubble gum and zip ties and we're gonna give it a try. Like, that's a Cinderella story, right? So when you're like, oh yeah, we're the number 1 seed, it's like, okay, sit down.
Yeah. And last year you were number 2. Yeah. So I get it. Guys, Donna, I'm not a jersey guy, so I don't buy jerseys. But in this era, I'm definitely not buying jerseys. Like I said, my brother gave me the jersey with my name on the back as a present. Otherwise, my favorite player from Alabama last year transferred this year.
Yeah.
And he had just transferred in. So it was like,
yeah, I mean,
I'm not buying jerseys.
The custom jerseys with your name on it are really the route at this point. Because yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, people are moving all the time. I mean, it's one of the things that is great at the pro level, right? Is you have contracts. So unless they get traded, you know that they're at least going to be there for a few years.
Yes. Yep. You can read the contract, look at the guaranteed. All right, look, I've got this guy for 3 years. I've loved him so far.
Yep.
And he's already sometimes he's already been here 3 years. So I've bought the jersey, signed a contract extension. I'm like, good. This is somebody I can support. Yep. So, and 5 years in NFL time is like a lifetime at this point. So
yeah, I mean, for a lot of them, it's their whole career.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there is a theme in the jerseys that I do have. I have two offensive players total. I have Steve Largent and Marshawn Lynch.
There you go.
All of my other jerseys are defense. Now, I might have been biased, I guess.
Right, maybe.
But yeah, all of my other ones are all defense. It's funny.
Yeah, see, no, it's like, and in the pro sports, you know, like you said, you can maybe not see it coming as much or whatever. But in college, you just have no idea. You know, like my favorite, like I said, the guy I liked last year just transferred in. Met him at A-Day, was very respectful, liked him, thought he's going to be a good player. Thought he'd go to the NFL after this year. And then he transferred to another school in the SEC that we have to play this year. And I was like no, I'm so glad I didn't buy anything to support you. So,
well, and think about the ones, when you could kind of transfer whenever, right? At least that's done. But, imagine some of those guys that transferred into your school, were there for the spring game, were there just long enough to get their jerseys printed. You go buy one, transfers out, never even plays a game for your school.
Yes. The ones that use the spring game as their last audition to get to go somewhere. Yes. So no, it's totally frustrating. And I get the whole NIL side, kids getting paid. There's a lot of money. I get it. But this is not what was intended for any of it. Because like we said yesterday, this doesn't mirror anywhere else in life. If you leave your job every single year, it's going to catch up to you pretty quickly. The second guy might be fine. The third guy's like, I'm not hiring the guy that switches jobs every year. Like, what's the point of that? By the time I get you fully trained and ready and learn everything, you're leaving. So,
you're headed to my competition. Yeah, you can get away with that once or twice, but if you have a history of it, you're looking at that resume like, nah, like I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do this again in 6 months.
Right.
So yeah. No, it's I do like that there's little tweaks to the landscape that are coming.
Right.
But it has less to do with the NCAA and has more to do with the people signing the NIL contracts. They're like, look, we want a little bit more accountability here, because in the beginning it was just like, do whatever you want. And so kids were taking the money and then immediately leaving. There's not even any safeguards in that contract, which is wild to me, that those schools would even get their money back. And it's just like, oh, so you're just straight robbing schools.
Right. Which I don't get, because you would never assign a coach and have no safeguards, but the kids you trusted. So you're saying the 50-year-old coach, you're like, all right, we need to have all this structure. And the 18-year-old kid, you're like, oh, he's probably responsible. Here you go.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah. Here's $1 million. Don't do anything dumb. It's like, I did dumb stuff without $10.
I was broke and dumb. Like, what are we talking about?
Right? Imagine the dumb stuff I could have done with money.
Yes, And I think sometimes people think we're criticizing the kids. No, that is the exact point right there. We all would have done it. You cannot give an 18-year-old that much money and then think he'll probably be responsible. I know high school prepared him for it, right? They had finance classes in no.
0 times ever. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but we learned about cytoplasm, which has come up so many times in my life.
What is it? Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. I know that one. Well, the amount of times people have asked me that is still 0.
Our radio audience is like, what is happening today?
Look, championship games, NIL. It all comes together, folks.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense. Man, good stuff. Sticking with basketball, we are through the expansion draft. So the expansion draft happened on the 3rd, and now we are in that free agency window. Right. And the biggest one to move already, Angel Reese to Atlanta.
Yes.
I was surprised with that one because she's still on a rookie deal.
Right.
And so I was surprised to see her get traded. I'm not sure what Chicago's doing.
They're not either.
I mean, at this point, they've dumped every good player. Like, are they trying to move? Like, what are they doing?
So I've said it several times to you, right? Since Chicago has a terrible plan. You should have never drafted Cardosa and Angel Reese together, because it was very redundant. They didn't help feed off each other. You got a coach that I don't know if she did a good job or not, because Chicago's terrible, but she gets fired after 1 year. So you kind of alienate the person who became your star player in Angel Reese. Mm-hmm. Guard play has always been your problem. You go get Mabry. She wants out after a year. That's telling me like, okay, you guys are, and Mabry wants out everywhere after a year, but still she wanted out after a year. That's not working. You decide to go with Vandersloot, and she gets hurt. You have no backup plan. I think Chinity was their best player at guard the year before, and she ended up playing overseas after that because she has such a bad attitude. It's like you're not putting pieces together, right? And Angel Reese, no matter what anybody thinks about her, is still an elite defender and rebounder and player. And you could see when she has good guard play, like her and Caitlin Clark are killing it, when they playing for the USA. So giving her up, like you said.
It's funny because it's funny that you say it that way, because it's like Chicago kept trying to make her a guard.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, well, how come she's not great? It's like, that's not her position. No. Imagine if the Bulls was trying to make Rodman their main scorer.
Right.
Rodman actually wasn't a bad shooter, but he's not Michael Jordan.
Right.
Right.
But
at the same time, Jordan isn't doing what Rodman does either. Right.
Exactly.
So if you get her complementary pieces, Angel Reese is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to make her play a position that she doesn't play, turns out you're not great. Try writing with your left hand sometime. I understand you can write with your right hand really well, but we're asking you to do it left-handed for no reason.
Yeah. That's an excellent point. And that's but the reason why they tried to do that was because they drafted Cardosa. And you look at what the Sparks did in the same year, getting Brink and Jackson. Okay, let's get a forward and a guard. These are how you build teams through the draft. Getting two, basically centers and forwards who don't have much of an outside game is terrible. So they're like, all right, well, Cardosa was the 3rd pick, so let's put her down low. So Reese, we need you to go develop a 3-point shot all of a sudden, or become a point guard. But remember when Cardosa was banged up, Reese had great games. I mean, she had great games anyway, but the floor was a little more open for her to move around and operate. Just how I write with my left hand.
Joe, you probably bet with your left hand because it is catching L's all the time.
Yes. Oh, but it's funny. I've read like 3 different articles on the trade, and one of them gives Chicago an F, and the other one's like a B and a C. Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, but for 2 first-round picks for a team that just made the playoffs last year and is presumably better, those first-round picks are not going to be great picks. Yeah. So no, I don't get what Chicago's. Plus, you always say this. I think you're giving draft picks back to a team that doesn't draft well. So what are we going to do with those anyway?
Yeah. No, I mean, like that. Yeah, I don't get it. If you also want to lose money, though, you can do it right here on Coast to Coast with the QR code on the screen. Up to 125% first 3 deposits, 10% bet guarantee in case you pick anything that Joe has picked. Yes. And of course, if you're in the Pacific Northwest, use the QR code on the screen here. Free 5-day pass at any of the 3 True Fusion gyms, Pilates bootcamp, yoga bar, and more. Find your edge, True Fusion Gym.
Yeah, really. Atlanta was the 3rd seed in the playoffs last year, and I feel like Reese definitely makes them better.
No question. Yeah, no question. I mean, there's not a team out there that couldn't use her rebounding ability. And you know, it's funny because everybody's like, "Oh, me bounds" and all of this. It's like, first, that's a tired narrative anyway.
Right.
But also, if you got rid of her offensive boards as a whole, including the ones that she gets from herself and from everybody else and whatever, you get rid of the offensive boards as a whole, she still leads the leagues in rebounds. So like, let's calm down. If you just only looked at her defensive rebounds, she's better than the rest of the league on offensive and defensive rebounds. Yeah. So let's calm down.
Yeah, she is an elite rebounder. They've just jumped onto a narrative and taken that, but no, she improves that. Also plays good defense too as well. So
exactly.
No, and then let's be honest, the other part of it is she puts butts in the seats. You know, I realize it's maybe not on some other, but she's one of your more popular players, and love her or hate her, she always gets attention. Yeah, that's something else you need as a franchise. Let's be honest. So
and she's actually super nice to the media. I got to chat with her when she was here in Seattle, and you know, they were a terrible team. And you know, they were already eliminated, and I was just like, hey, you know, like how do you keep your focus, like, you know, moving forward? And she's just like, yeah, you know, I mean, you kind of have to embrace the fact that this team isn't going to be the same next year, so you just you try and, you know, get better and build more chemistry, and, you know, play with the women on your team because you're probably not playing with them next year. And you know, she's not wrong. I mean, she's really not wrong because she's not. But no, I mean, it's funny because she gets a lot of hate that is really kind of unfounded.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. It comes from people think that there's this huge rift with her and Caitlin Clark stemming from the national championship game, which, by the way, doesn't come from the two of them. So it's you know, every time they're on the court, it's like they expect them to be best friends when they don't play for the same team. You know, they're not going to be buddies. But the second they're on the court together, because they gave the national team, the USA team work when they were both out there playing together. And then this little trials or whatever they had right now, they're giving it like they play great together on the court. They're helping each other up. I mean, we ignore all that because we want to go back to Angel Reese doing the Caitlin Clark in the national championship game, like what, 4 or 5 years ago at this point. Mm-hmm. That's what it's rooted in. But it's not for them. It's only for everyone else. They don't care. Caitlin Clark came after the game and said, "Yeah, I have no problem with it. I don't care. I'm fine." Yeah. Everyone else decided to have an issue. So
no, it was funny because she had some cocky moments going into it.
Right.
Like everybody brushes over the fact that happened.
Yes. Yes. We pick and choose our stories for sure.
Oh, no question.
But no, I think Angel Reese will do fine. Yeah, Donna, it is the way it is. We pick and choose which stories we like and we don't like. And look, this is for Caitlin Clark's part of this. She's never gotten into any of this stuff that everyone else buys it. She just wants to play basketball, and she's pretty much made that clear the whole time. Yes.
Yes. If you have a gambling problem, you can get help by using this QR code on the screen.
We're trying our best for you people.
Don't see the show. That was a joke.
Yeah. If you sue it, you ain't getting no money anyway.
That's true. That's true. You'd have thought we had a gambling problem.
Yes.
Oh man. So moving along a little bit, we do have our Major League Rugby season underway, and Old Glory came to Seattle for the opener here. And you know, it was the Easter celebration, it was Kids Day and all of this. Seawolves came out and did some work though. Like they came out ready to rock, ended up winning 33-16. And you know, there were still things they could build on, but it was a dominant showing out of the Seawolves. And one of the biggest things was year over year, the kicking was so bad last year, and they had lost multiple games because of that element of the game. And so after the game, and you know, don't worry about the angle of my gimbal. My gimbal decided it wanted to add some artistic flair to my stuff. So about 3 seconds into this interview, it was like, oh. But weirdly, coach is still perfectly in frame for this. So I mean, it worked out, I guess. But I brought up the kicking in general, and his response was funny. So I figure I might as well share that one.
One thing from last year to this year is the kicking tonight was so much better than over the course of last season. What do you attribute that to?
The quality of the individuals and being able to put the ball between the posts. So yeah, I thought you know, the boys who started were excellent. Davey, you know, he's a really good player. Andre controlled our forward unit, put the ball in front of our forwards, and then the boys who came on as well. You know, Dorian Jones and the likes. They really added impact and brought that experience to bring us home at the end.
Awesome. I appreciate your time.
All the best.
Have a good one.
That's the last guy sucked.
Right? Like it was such a funny
my goodness.
like I was not expecting that. Right?
Yeah.
Because he tends to be very, very serious. And
Right.
so, but when I asked the question, you saw him smile. So I was like, oh, this is going to be an interesting response, because
That's funny.
you could tell in his mind, he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead and give him a soundbite here.
Right. But even then, he said it in the most professional manner. The quality.
Oh yeah. He wasn't wrong though. I mean, they couldn't kick at all last year, and so in fact, the first game of the season last year, they won. They missed 5 kicks.
Good grief.
So, you know, so it's great to see that they were finding their way through the uprights there. They start a 2-game road trip, so we don't have another local game here for a couple of weeks, but excited to see what they do. The league is in a little bit different shape this year, with 3 teams dropping out and 2 teams merging. It is a very small field going into this season. Now, we did have the commissioner in the house for this opener, and unfortunately, I didn't get him on camera, but he did say that they were pretty optimistic of a couple of those teams coming back next year. So it sounded like it was some front office changes and stuff like that, getting new sponsors and those types of things for those teams. And so it sounds like potentially 2 of those 3 teams would be coming back. So that's encouraging for the league, because as it sits right now, you only have 6 teams league-wide.
And they seem pretty spread out, though. Like
they are.
These locations are. I'm looking at this thinking, North Carolina team, and California team, a Seattle team,
DC,
LA,
DC. Yeah.
This is
and of course the LA team is actually 2 teams that merged.
Okay.
So there was an LA and I think it was like San Diego. And so they merged teams. But yeah, I mean, you're looking at a league that went from what it was like 11 or 12 teams to 6. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was,
I guess you don't really have a choice in picking. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's rough. It also means that you're going to end up playing these teams a few times this year because the length of the season's the same, right? Because they still have TV contracts to fill and all of this. So the games still have to happen. So, I mean, you're just going to be playing these guys more times, which, you know, good and bad, I guess. You can exact some revenge on somebody that might have beat you up early in the year, but at the same time, you're like, well, this is the third time we're playing them. So, you know,
a little too much familiarity. And then I also imagine like when you go travel to play one of those teams, you have to do the road trip, right? You can't go and play one team and come back home. It has to be, we need to at least every time you leave this side, right?
Yeah,
you have to play at least 2, right? You know, just for travel purposes.
I mean, you would think so. The teams that are still around, though, the financial issue isn't an issue. So, so it's not that there was like a league-wide financial problem, anything like that, right? Like the teams that are there are good. So, but you know, you always have those underfunded teams, right? And you know, so those are the ones that are always either for sale or moving or, you know, or they just embrace the suck, you know, welcome to Oakland days. You know, so, you know, there's always those teams, but like Seattle is a solid financially backed team. You know, they just added Marshawn Lynch to the ownership group last season. And so, so they're fine in that front. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, it in a weird way, it's an easier path to a championship. And Seattle has been a championship winner a couple of times, been in the championship game a couple more times. So if they were to add another trophy, you know, nobody's going to look back at how many teams were in the league in a couple of years. They're just gonna be like, oh, you got your third trophy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, we've had seasons that go on strike and different thing. And at the end of the day, winning a trophy is winning a trophy. So, and you can't control the other teams. It's not like Marshawn Lynch has to go out and fund another team just so you can have more teams to play, right?
True.
That's
true.
I promise you right now.
And even if you're an owner and say the league folds up or whatever, okay. You know, I mean, investment wise, it's you know, unfortunate, but like at the same time, it's not like every investment works out or every bet.
Right. Oh,
so no. Boom, lose some money right here. Oh man. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Hopefully, you know, this season is successful. They did get better TV contracts for Major League Rugby, which is actually kind of funny, considering how many less teams there are. So a lot of their games are now being broadcast on ESPN, ESPN2, or ESPN Plus rather, and they signed a deal locally with King 5. So,
sorry, Joe. Joe catching strays left and right. You know, it's funny though, from an executive side, if I had signed, you know, a new TV deal for them and they had less teams, I'm almost thinking, okay, but if a couple of these guys merged, they probably kept the best teams. So I'm just wondering if the quality, at least from if I'm the guy on the other end of it, I'm thinking, well, the quality is probably better because you had to trim certain players. You probably only kept the best. And maybe these games will be, you know, all very competitive or better, especially if you're trying to grab new audiences. Hey, this is probably the time to watch.
No, I mean, they were competitive anyway, right? Okay. Like, you didn't have any like truly scrubbed teams because you're not talking about a ton of teams,
right?
He's done. You know, you're looking at, you know, even at the max that they've had, you know, 11 or 12 teams, right? So, I mean, you're not completely diluted when it comes to within the ranks, but at the same time, there's a million other areas of rugby, right? Like especially the international end of it.
Right.
So I always look at Major League Rugby kind of like the MLS, right? It's domestically really competitive. Globally, maybe less so.
Right.
You know, if your MLS team goes out and you know, plays some of the juggernauts around the world, they may not do particularly well.
Yes. Which they have all those kind of matches, and
They do.
it doesn't always go the way we would like it to go. So I get that.
You know, except for when the Sounders do it. The Sounders actually perform pretty well when they do international friendly games. But that's another squad that has been really competitive over the course of their time. So, so that makes some sense. But now, if you threw some of those lesser teams out there, yeah, they're just going to get ran over.
Right. It'll be a true exhibition.
Oh yeah.
No, we weren't playing all our players. We were just trying to give some guys some run.
and by exhibition, you mean execution. I think that local team gets absolutely murdered.
Yeah. We'll be sold a lot of tickets because that's the only positive.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then, of course, before we get out of here, we do have to talk some NHL.
What was last night? Yeah.
The Kraken they're toast. They're toast. Still mathematically somehow in there. They shouldn't be, but somehow mathematically still hanging on. They would have to win everything, and the other teams, and I mean all of them, would have to lose out, which seems unlikely.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they have not been able to play hockey since the break. And it's unfortunate. That being said, Pags Phillies or Flyers, they look like they're going to make it.
Yeah. I don't know if don't tell them I'm rooting against them, but yeah, it looks like they're gonna slide in there. So about the Kraken, before I do move it to them, it's like they're competitive. You know, there's a period in here and there, and then it's just like it falls apart. And once it falls apart, it just feels like it's, oh man.
Especially now that some of the things they were doing well, they're no longer doing well.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, before they weren't really good at putting the puck on the net, right? But the defense was solid. Well, the defense has slidden, and now you're talking like the goaltenders aren't stopping at the same rate that they were. They used to be really good on penalty kills, and now they're giving up points just about every time there's a power play, which is why you're seeing these losses consistently being like 5 or 6 to 2, right? Because they're not scoring any more than they were. But now they're giving up goals in bunches. The first game when they were here, back here off that road trip, they had a 10-minute section where they gave up 5 goals.
Yeah. I
mean, it was just like, okay. This press conference going to be super fun.
Yes. Is it getting kind of like the football equivalent of your offense is always 3 and out, so your defense is always on the field? So it's kind of at some point, look, all we're doing is taking in shots. We're not getting any shots off. I'm tired. I want this season over with. So, mentally you get broken down a little bit, or is that totally...
there is a definite mental aspect of this game. Some of it is on defense for sure. Mm-hmm. But some of it is just other teams watching tape, right? They're like, hey, we're in their zone all the time.
Right.
Just pepper the net. Like some of them are going to go in, and that's where you're seeing shots on goal, 35 to the 20 that the Kraken will have. And it's just like, they don't even have to be great shots. Some of those will sneak in. If you're out there and you just unload on the net, you're going to score some points. Yeah. So I think some of it's that. I think the lack of scoring does come also from a mental aspect where, you haven't been able to find the net. There's been some kind of amazing blocks. So all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, instead of shooting, now they look more like they're looking for that next pass and they lose possession of the puck. And so, unfortunately, it's been an evolution that I've gotten to watch, because they've also gone on weird runs during this year. So they'll like rattle off 3 or 4 wins and then they'll lose 7. And so it's just been it's been very bizarre how hot and cold this team has been.
Right.
But at this point, they look like they're always looking for the next pass as opposed to just shoot the puck.
Yeah.
It may not be the cleanest shot, but you know which one has a better shot is a shot. Yes. rather than a pass that ultimately gets intercepted and it starts going back the other way. So unfortunately they just haven't been really good on the offensive side of the ice. The forecheck just can't seem to get any shots on net, and it's too bad because with 6 games to go, there's really no realistic way for them to get in. Right. So if you're here in Seattle, you got 3 more chances to see them before the season's over. But yeah, I don't see a path for them unless, again, literally everybody just falls off the map.
Yeah. And that sucks because 10 games ago, we were talking about, hey, right in the thick of it and, playing a little bit better. And then all of a sudden, it like from the outside, it's starting to feel like, look, we just want the season over with, a lot of these seasons are long. I've always said that in all the sports. I think you get these last couple and it's just time to go. So I get it.
For sure. Yeah.
And then in their best interest at this point, just to lose the last 6.
No, because it's not going to change where you would be, like draft wise, right? Like it's not going to be enough to do anything.
To bump you up anywhere. Okay.
Yeah, not really. Like a spot maybe. But yeah, I don't know. It's too bad. It's too bad because even further, if we say 15 games ago, they controlled their own destiny. We're like, you're in the 3rd spot of the division. Even if you were a wild card, you had points, and then like the wheels just fell off. So on that note, they're on the road again. So I imagine that's going to be great. And then and then they still have to play the Knights twice before the end of the season. Like they don't have an easy path even through the last 6.
Right.
And so you saying lose the last 6, they might. They actually might. So
that's awesome.
One thing that was kind of cool though, I did get to vote for the MVP of our team. So I did get to do that. That was on the 2nd. And or I had to cast my ballot on the 2nd anyway. So look at me being a real media member. Hey.
Well, did you vote for yourself or did you actually vote for a player?
Well, I'm not on the list, so but no, so it I voted for, so you basically get 3 selection spots, right? So you get your number 1 spot, and number 2, like your alternate, and then the second alternate, right? And so we'll be I'll be very interested to see if my assessment of it is similar to everyone else, or am I just way off base? Could be too. It was funny though, because I did hear some people that were voting for McMahon, who has only been here since the trade deadline, which was not so long ago.
I could not remember his name, but I was going to ask, did he get it? Because when he came, didn't you have 11 goals in the first 2 games that he
so he's scored in almost every game.
Right. No, but I'm saying like as a team too, it felt like that offensive output when he first got there was also
the first
big.
2.
But yes. Yeah. So
the first 2 games they were lighting it up with him in there. But no, him being on the ice, he's scored in almost every game, and he has more points because you get points for assists, right?
Right.
He has more points than games played in Seattle. So, I mean, so if you're talking immediate impact,
Right.
so there were some people that had him voted as like the third alternate. At the end of the day, he just wasn't here long enough to actually win that award, but he is showing up on that ballot.
I'm not surprised, especially from the way you've talked about him. And no, not his fault that he couldn't arrive a little bit sooner to him being held up. So it's kind of like, I imagine in people's mind,
That's only 2 games though.
Oh, okay. See, for my time, I'm old. My time period, I thought it was a much longer period. So,
no, they needed him at the beginning of the year. Is really what they needed.
Sure. Yeah. Like I said, it was cool that you called it and like, hey, we really need him out there, and he gets out there, and all of a sudden you see the change. So, it sounds like you need maybe 1 or 2 more of them. But
well, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, you need a couple more guys that will take shots. I mean, that's the biggest thing is, when you're watching them go, you're like, oh, this is the most unselfish team. It's like, well, could one of you be selfish? Because we can't score if y'all don't shoot the puck.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why every NBA team has that one guy that comes off the bench that's like, yeah, I'm not playing any defense. I'm not passing the ball, but I'll get you 20, in the next COVID. Sometimes you just need a guy who's like, no, I'll shoot. Don't worry about it. What, 3 seconds left on the clock? Give me. Like they don't.
Exactly.
Shots are going up, man. People make a living off of that. So
yeah, well, and I mean, you need a couple of those guys, and of course in hockey, because you have lines, right? You have 3 or 4 lines. You need one of those guys on each line. Like you need guys that will go shoot.
Yeah.
So,
it sounds like such a simple thing.
It seems like a pretty, like, especially for your forwards, like that's why you're there,
right?
Now, if you're
want me to do what now? Guys, shoot, huh?
Yeah,
hadn't considered that.
We don't do that. Why? See, if we shoot and then they might miss it and they'll feel bad because they lost. And yeah, I got nothing for this. Like, I don't know why they get outscored or outshot almost every game, but they have a tendency to just not pull the trigger on it, or as Coach Lane says, squeeze the stick. So it's the apprehension, right? Like you grab it and you're like, but you don't actually, follow through and take the shot. So I don't know. Hopefully it's a good showing the last 6 games. They're pretty much out of it, but you still want to finish with something, right? Like you don't want to just finish the year out getting crushed. So that being said, that does get us to the top of the hour. If you are listening on 97.3 ICU radio, stay tuned. Smooth Jazz headed your way. And of course, if you are listening on every other platform, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, iHeartRadio, Spotify, doesn't matter. Be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our content to you. Otherwise, we will see you all tomorrow. Take it easy, everybody.
Smooth Jazz.
Smooth Jazz.